signed any service level agreement with NIC for development and implementation of the JEPNEC. In absence of any agreement, no action could be initiated, although NIC could not complete the implementation of modules such as vendor management, indent management, contract management, and catalog management. These details are given in para 2.1 and 2.2. We have seen the names of bidders did not match with the names of holders of digital signature certificate, and the same DSC had been mapped to multiple bidders, which indicated that the name of the bidder had not been validated at the time of registration of DSCs. Due to absence of validation control verification by the departmental user in the system, the DSC used by the bidders did not have the essential attribute of non-disclaimer, which means that it is not what valid at the time of entry. A bidder could potentially disown any bids or inputs submitted into the system on the grounds of that the DSC was not registered in the name of the bidder or was mapped to multiple bidders in the system. These details are there in para 3.1.1 and others. In regarding para 3.3.2, we have noticed that in case of 25,109 bidders, the PAN number was not unique, meaning that the same PAN number was also found mapped to the other bidders ranging from 2 to 212 times in the database. Due to lack of validation controls to prevent duplicate PAN mapped to multiple bidders, 29 bidders had submitted 2 to 4 bids in the same tender during the test check. Coming to the other chapter 4, para 4.2, we noticed that 168 out of the 486 tenders, fewer days were allowed than the prescribed for bid submission ranging between 1 to 9 days. There were no reason for giving fewer days to bidders for submission of bids. The business rule specifying the minimum period of submission of bids had not been mapped into system in the form of application control to enforce the minimum period of submission of bid based on tender value. The whole state detail is also given in the para. In next para 4.3, the business rule for following two cover process for tender having value more than 50 lakh had not been mapped as an application control in the e-procurement system. The workflow permitted the department user to opt for single cover process even when tender value was more than 50 lakh. Coming to next chapter, chapter 5, para 5.1, 1.1. 228 bids relating to 224 tenders had been submitted after bid closing time due to either absence of application control to prevent submission of bids after tender closing time or due to manual intervention at the back end of the system. The details are there in various tables in the report. Next 5.1.2 para, a total of 14 bids pertaining to 12 tenders had been recorded as created before the tender documents sale start date. Further, 2192 bids had bid update time recorded as before the bid creation time. And further, 6,26,115 bids had bid uploaded time recorded as the bid as before the bid creation time. This indicated inadequate validation control to enforce correct recording of time and enforcement of chronological sequencing of user actions in the system. Hence, there was absence of time stamping integrity in the system. Next para is, which is chapter 6.1.2. I am giving some highlights only. The detail you can also see in those annexures. Details are there. There were 342 bids pertaining to 120 tenders in the system, which was recorded as not having been decrypted. Out of these 120 tenders, 48 tenders had either been revoked, retendered or cancelled. However, these were no explanation as to why the bids in the remaining 72 tenders were recorded as not having been decrypted. Out of these bids, which were recorded as not decrypted, contracts had been awarded in the case of 5 bids. This discrepancy indicated that material risk that these bids pertaining to 72 tenders had been entered into system through manual intervention at the back end. Coming to chapter 7, the business process such as tender evaluation, both technical and financial, negotiation with vendors, and award of contract are still being carried out manually instead of through the e-procurement system. As a result, the objective of the eliminating human interface for this key process has not been achieved. In the absence of application control for this process carried out manually, audit noticed instances where tender inviting authorities had manually increased the bid amounts submitted by the bidders after downloading the financial bill of quantities from the e-procurement portal and excluded the L1 bidder from the consideration at the time of award of contract.